Folks, it's exciting times in sports. Matter of fact, today, catchers and pitchers are reporting to spring training. That's amazing. Daytona 500's happening. NBA All-Star Weekend, the dunk contest. Other than that, not so much news really in the world of sports, you guys. I mean, I can't think of anything else.
There's no new news that we need to talk about either, Travis. I mean, although Xavier Worthy's Super Bowl rookie record, 157 yards, 2 touchdown performance, was just a thing of beauty.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Travis Kelce now has the all-time record.
Yeah, I mean, just
receptions in Super Bowl. Like, so much good news and more on this week's episode of the Fanbase. Get ready, sports fans. The Fanbase is here. It's the show where heartbreak meets hilarity. We're roasting your rivals, we're hyping the home team, and we're turning sports disaster into comedy gold with your hosts, Fat McAfee, Marty McDonald, the other fat guy, Travis Wright, and the bald guy, Steve Moser. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble, but don't fumble. It's the Fanbase.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 5 of the podcast. We're excited to be here. This week's theme is sometimes you're the pigeon and sometimes you're the statue. And I think after Super Bowl LIX, the Chiefs found out they were the statue. Travis,
yeah,
let's ignore the Marvel alternate reality and accept what we have to accept. We got to eat a little bit of shit here.
Right.
What the hell happened Sunday night in Super Bowl 59?
Well, that was like, zero amount of lube being used on you. You got bent over back the woodshed. That was a straight up ass whipping. Turns out Mahomes is not just just like a unbelievable football god that is just, every time super clutch. Turns out he's human. It really reminded me a bit, Marty, of the Tampa Bay Super Bowl where Mahomes had to run 500 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Like that, I'll tell you this. I got to give it up to Philadelphia because I don't know of any team that would have beat them that day. They were so on. They were on fire. That defensive line didn't even blitz, and they were always in Mahomes' face. Their offensive line, what was the average? Is like 6'6" and 340 pounds or something.
Yeah, I mean it was easily a ton.
Huge.
It was crazy, and I think you're right. Like, give the Eagles their flowers. That the pressure rate they put on Mahomes and our offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's snap and sweats in the backfield already, and I think I think it's okay as fans. We're a little critical of the Chiefs and the adjustments they failed to make. Kingsley Sumiari, however you say his last name, he was actually warming up on the sidelines to go in and replace Mike Caliendo, who played like Frank Caliendo during that game. He was impersonating left guard, and we were just overmatched from day one. True. And
he was doing John Madden calls over there on the sidelines. And Frank Caliendo is hilarious. He was doing something. He did a really good YouTube short, TikTok, Instagram reel video of him doing all these impersonations about stuff that happened during the football game, and that was hilarious. And I'll tell you what. They went up. Eagles went up 10-0, and I was like, okay, 10-0, dude. Now we start. This is good. This is when the Super Bowl begins for Mahomes. And then he threw that pick six to Cooper DeJean on his birthday, his 22nd birthday, and now it's 17-0. And that was the moment that I said, "Oh,
yeah,
this might not be so great, you guys."
Oh, it was terrible. We had a hell of a spread at our house for the Super Bowl. I had a bunch of people over. Had my world famous taco bar out, bean dip, queso.
Wait. Where was our invite? Where was the invite? Hey, Moser, did you get your invite? Where was it?
Oh. I sent it via one of those invite services.
Oh, yeah. Well, you carrier pigeon?
Yeah, carrier pigeon. And a St. Bernard. I put it in the little cask under his neck.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see it. I guess
maybe you got hit by a dog on I-70. Who knows? But, yeah, Cooper's pick six, and then – look, we broke that matchup down, and we really said that it was the D-line versus the Chiefs' offensive line, and we also brought in Eagles linebacker Brawl. We said if he was shutting down elite tight ends all year and he shut Kelce down, and He had that diving interception across the middle. Now Mahomes got hit, but it was a rough night. And
Yeah. We
we,
said last time, though, we said that the biggest thing is going to be how do you stop Saquon Barkley? How do you get him so he doesn't go off for 100 plus yards? And I say the Chiefs must have spent so much time trying to figure out how to stop Saquon because they did a pretty good job stopping Saquon, right? That was the best thing that they did. But the thing is that everything else was just a complete shit show. The offense looked completely lost. Reid's play calling, which I think probably Matt Nagy looked like a lot of those calls, and they didn't adjust. There's a great video. Matter of fact, we're going to play this right now. It's off of a tweet we saw that had the all 22. And you watch this. This is every one of the passes from the Chiefs. Nobody's open, bro. And you can see there are spots in the zone where they should have been sending people, but they didn't make adjustments.
no.
And so Mahomes was running for his life. He was always under pressure. He didn't have enough time. The coaching didn't give him the right plays to sort of fix that scenario, I think, you know?
No, they didn't. And that video is from our good friend Nick Jacobs here in Kansas City and works for Channel 41 News and does an amazing job. Like Nick can break down game tape better than the pro guys on TV. So hopefully we can get Nick on a future episode here. But I'm going to tell you, Travis, what that tweet daylights is a lot of things, but it really daylights a massive deficiency that the Chiefs have with their wide receiver coach, Connor Embry. Never played wide receiver in the NFL, never coached in the NFL until he was just a QA assistant with the Chiefs. He was a hack running back from the University of Kansas, but his father was connected to Andy Reid. And I will say this, as much as I love Andy Reid, I love the dude. He's got flaws where he's a little too loyal on offense and he surrounds himself with too many yes guys. And I think that's also part of the problem. And
I agree. I think we should get rid of Nagy. We need a new offensive coordinator. And you're right. You just sort of shared something that I had not thought of or had even considered at all. The amount of speed and the amount of talent that we had as wide receivers, really, they should have gone off. They should have gone ham. We've been waiting for that sort of game where they all click on all cylinders. And I don't think any of that happened. Hey, Moser, I'd love to hear what your thoughts were of it. Besides it being really shitty.
Well, it just offensive line didn't seem like it had enough time. Like the Philadelphia defensive line overpowered the Chiefs offensive line to the point where it seemed like such a mismatch. The teams weren't like on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to watch football when, like, you see that a lot in high school or college football where one team's lines superior to others. Shouldn't really happen in the Super Bowl, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got all of these champions from the collegiate level. You got all these Georgia Bulldogs on that defense. They played like they'd been there before. There was not one of them who looked like this moment was too big for them. You know what I mean? And I think that was one of the problems is the Chiefs are doing a three-peat. They kind of seem bored. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to call some bullshit to whoever decided that Patrick Mahomes should have came to the Super Bowl wearing Eagles-colored suit. I mean, look at this video. Here's a video. Patrick Mahomes coming into the stadium wearing green. Come on. You should be. What was that?
He did that, Travis, as an homage to Jordan because Jordan wore a green suit when they did their three-peat. If we're going to get ticky-tacky and talk about some
I didn't like that. I don't think that would look good. And then I also, whatever the hell Kelsey was wearing, he looked like a straight-up 70s pimp. Dude, like
I love Kelsey's outfit. I mean,
it looks good walking into the Super Bowl. It doesn't look so good when you're walking out as a loser.
No, that's when you put on the team issue T-shirt and sweat shorts, and that's it stage left. But hey, look, the Chiefs have had an amazing run. We have played in 7 straight AFC title games. We have been in the Super Bowl. God, how many times? We just came off a 3-year run. We've won 3 under Mahomes or 3
5 out of 6.
Like
5 out of 6 years we've been in the Super Bowl. That's insane. Some people are saying, "Oh my God, it's the end of the dynasty." I'm like, dude, how's it going to be the end of the dynasty when you still got Mahomes and he's 29 years old?
Yeah, I know. And this whole GOAT conversation that I saw unfold this week on Twitter, and this performance is the worst, and there's no way that Mahomes can be in there. Man, bullshit. His stats are actually better than Tom Brady's stats at the same point in their career. And guess what? With Tom Brady, we have the benefit as humans of seeing his whole career unfold. Right now, today, Travis, or Patrick, his career is just 7 years in. Like,
Yeah.
it's so fucking absurd to me, pardon my French, that we're ending GOAT conversations. Like, look, it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Marty, I want to say this about it because with the Patriots had their dynasty, right? They went off and they won 6 Super Bowls and they were in 9, and even they were in more than that because in the Drew Bledsoe and then also in the 1985 against the Bears. So they've been in a lot of Super Bowls. I think they've been in 11 Super Bowls and they've won 6. And I'll say this is that we did get to see the Patriots get blown out in 1985, but we didn't get to see them get blown out at all during the Patriots dynasty. So America never got that money shot, right? They didn't be like, yeah, the Patriots are. They almost did. I mean, it was nice when they were, 18-0 and they were playing the Giants and they were almost undefeated and they lost. Ha ha ha, suck it. But they didn't get blown out, right? They almost got blown out versus the Falcons. They didn't get blown out, right? Chiefs got their asses kicked, dude. It was a straight up behind the woodshed, kick that ass and keep kicking it, and then go out and get me a switch and give that to your grandma because your grandma's going to come and beat some ass too. Like everybody's getting the kick ass on that. And dude, that's just the way it was. There was 31 teams out of the 32 who were really happy about that result. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm happy with 3 Super Bowl rings. And I'm happy that the NFL Combine starts in 2 weeks, that free agency starts on March 12th.
Right.
And, the NFL draft is on April 24th. So we got more football coming. We're getting into the new era. I do feel the Chiefs are going to have to retool in a lot of areas. And I pray, I'm going to look into the camera when I say this, that in late April at the NFL draft, which is going to be held in Green Bay, that I hear the Chiefs select with pick blah, 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 running back Cam Scatabo from Arizona State University. Because Cam is the man, and I would love to see this dude.
I used to Arizona State boy. That's good.
Offense. That dude is a 3-down running back, a rarity. And I can't wait to see Cam.
He does. He looks like a man playing kid sports out there. And I'm gonna say this: I want to thank the Chiefs for losing this Super Bowl because today, really, it snowed a bunch last night. The parade would have been the day. There would have been a whole lot of snow, and so we'll just do it next year.
Yeah, people had maybe some wet shoes, and all the schools here in Kansas City are out of AMI days, so just things happen for a reason. And it's probably a good segue to talk about Super Bowl commercials. I know we talked about kind of our favorites all time last week, but Travis, I don't know, man. This year there's a lot of money spent on advertising, and brands are trying to do the right thing, but I think there's some marketers that actually need to hire you and I to help tell a better story. What do you think of the commercials this year?
I'll tell you, I have hosted a show called the Bad Crypto Podcast since 2007. I watched this to see how many companies are in the crypto space that did commercials. Zero crypto companies did commercials. A lot of AI. Right? One thing I thought was interesting was, OpenAI did one for ChatGPT and talking about what it's doing. And that whole ad, I think, was ideated by AI, but AI didn't create that ad. They didn't actually use Sora, their tool, to create it. And I would say, I don't think there was any instant classics of these commercials. Now that I'm looking back at it, I don't really remember many of the commercials, mostly because I was pissed off at the Chiefs, right? Pissed off because the Chiefs lost. And I just sit here watching it and I'm going, I don't remember too many of them. Now, I would say this, the FanDuel Kick of Destiny was pretty hilarious. And what I liked was whenever Eli was sitting there with his king thrown on and he was being dragged by Peyton. That was pretty funny to me. That made me chuckle. But I don't remember any other stuff. I don't remember any other ones. What do you think, Moser? What commercials stuck out to you? Did any?
Yeah, they were pretty bad this year. I don't know. For some reason, I think those Dun Kings commercials with the actors from Boston and Tom Brady. They're kind of funny to me, but
They are kind of funny. The Dunk Kings, they're not bad.
Maybe the David Beckham one where he was related to Matt Damon, right? At the end. I don't know.
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah.
Did you see the one? This is the one that I do remember, and I don't know that it was on a commercial or if it was just a pregame reel, but they showed a football on the field, and all of a sudden Leo Messi comes over and he just starts kicking the ball. He kicking the football, American football, like it's a soccer ball, and he's doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden he just hauls off and just kicks it right through the uprights. And then it says football begins, February 22nd or whatever. I was like, oh, man, that was amazing.
Actually, I think Sporting KC plays them in the tournament, right?
Yeah, there's coming out. And our friends at MLS Quest are getting ready to drop. But I will say this. I did kind of geek out in the pregame stuff because there was a lot of part 2 of Dead Reckoning from Mission Impossible, the final installment in that franchise. So I
sent out a tweet about that. I said, I don't know, Tom. If it's so Mission Impossible, why are there 8 of them? Seems pretty possible.
Well, hey, exactly. The trippiest one though for me was Seal in the Mountain Dew commercial as a seal.
Yeah. How broke does Seal have to be, right? To want to do that. Like, he had to be really fucking broke because that was embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. It was a total payday. I think we had a bunch of people yell out payday, payday, payday at the party. But I think my favorite is actually the Nike one with Pat McAfee as the fat, balding principal. And it was really promoting girls' sports and trying to get girls' flag football as a varsity sport in all 50 states. And look, I got a daughter. She's a high-level athlete, gets it from her mother, not me. And that hit me in the feels. And it also kind of prompted me to drop a Taylor Swift supporting Travis Kelce tweet that, it went viral. I didn't think it was going to go viral. Travis, I'm just pulling it up here right now, but I think we're sitting on, holy geez, 368,000 views, just under 1,000 retweets, and almost 8,000 likes. So, and look, the message was simple. All these guys that are complaining about Taylor Swift being on their TV during football, what you're doing is you're sending a message to not only your girlfriend, your wife, your daughter, your mistress, your side piece, whoever, but you're really telling them be smaller, be less, because all Tay-Tay is doing is just supporting Travis, and it's the media sticking it down our throat. In fact, last year in the playoffs, there was a time analysis done on the amount of time Tay-Tay was on TV. And in the 2 games between Miami and whoever we played after Miami, I forgot.
Tampa Bay.
Like a total of a minute and 40 seconds max. Mm-hmm. And that's not like they're going away from.
I played Miami last year. Oh, then we had to play. Yeah, we played the Bills, and then we played
the Bills. Yeah, it was the Bills. It was just those 2 games. Just a minute. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, all these knuckle dragging guys out there that make up our audience, like. You couldn't even last a minute 41 seconds with Taylor herself or your left hand. So I just think this commentary is just getting way out of line. And I spoke up, but holy shit, I did not realize the Tay-Tay crowd was coming to my defense. And
I would say this. Let me add this on there, because most of the people who were booing were Eagles fans. And just as a general rule, Eagles fans are douchebags, right? I mean, we've experienced it. We saw it. Eagles fans are douchebags. And Taylor Swift grew up in Pennsylvania, right? I would say the one that they would boo is if, like, Taylor Swift's dad was wearing Chiefs stuff, because that's the one who was the fan of the team originally, and then obviously kind of indoctrinated Taylor to like it. But then her boyfriend's a Chiefs fan. He's on the Chiefs, and so she's rooting for her boyfriend, right? Well, if Scott, her dad, is wearing Chiefs stuff, that I'd be like, what, dude? How the hell? Was he wearing a Chiefs? I don't know if
he was wearing it there. They didn't show him, but
she was just wearing white. She wasn't wearing anything Chiefs. She wasn't wearing anything Philadelphia. But I think that people were a little butthurt. And let's be real, the Philadelphia fans, they are very emotional. And I think that's why Nick Sirianni plays so well there, because he's very emotional, and that's like a match made in heaven. But did you see the destruction of
Oh,
Philadelphia after the Super Bowl was over? Like,
that was
it
stupid.
looks like a bomb went off over there, dude.
Yeah.
Win or lose, Philadelphia loses.
Yeah. I know you're not joking on that. And I've got some really good friends that are Eagle fans, and so they even shake their heads like, why are we doing this? I mean, someone was trying to burn a trash dump truck in there, burning jerseys or burning Kermit the Frog. Like, it wasn't enough that Buffalo lynched Kermit the Frog, their fans, from the tree, which, okay.
Yeah.
And now
What's funny is my daughter messaged me and goes, "Oh, by the way, Mom found an old jersey of yours of the Eagles in the back of the closet." And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Oh yeah, Randall Cunningham. That was I love Randall Cunningham, dude. Randall Cunningham was my favorite, one of my favorite quarterbacks growing up. Dude, that dude was amazing." And it's funny, I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot I had that 12 jersey back there." I go, "We need to burn that shit. Bring it over. We're burning it."
Well, Travis and Steve, in the spirit of the Uber Eats commercial, we listen and we don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. But I'm going to judge. The commercials this year were. So,
there we go.
Thank
you for that, Judge Marty on the bench.
All right. Well, Travis, hey, I think we've put Super Bowl to LIX or LIX to rest. Let's talk about something. Well, shit, I guess it's kind of related to the Super Bowl. Video leaked yesterday, which we're shooting on a Wednesday, so it came out Tuesday, of the beef on bourbon. So for me, that's normally
the beef on bourbon. Like for me, are we already doing the sandwich of the day? Are we bringing in Nick?
No, not yet. Like, what is your beef on bourbon? I'll tell you what mine is.
What's that?
Mine's a little Angel's Envy and a nice ribeye.
That sounds pretty good.
But that's not what happened on Bourbon Street between
Bourbon Street, not bourbon the drink. Boom.
Yeah, non-legendary Major League Baseball pitcher John Rocker, who's more famous for his racist and homophobic rants and chants and that damaging article in Sports Illustrated, and against Patrick Mahomes Sr. And word has it, I mean, TMZ had a video and all this, Rocker and Mahomes have had a beef for years, going back to their days playing. Oh, yeah.
But I did see that Rocker said, no, MFer couldn't take a joke. And so I don't know what was said. Do we know what was said?
We do. The joke was around Patrick Sr.'s sobriety and drinking and DUIs. And look, he's got a problem. He's had 3 DUIs, but he's also been sober for a year, and the man's trying. And I know personally, I've lost.
Wait. Was he sober when he was on Bourbon Street? Was he? Yeah, now it's a really hard place to stay sober, probably.
No, it is, but he was there and he had a good support group, and so they got into a tiff, right? And it was a classic.
Do they have to be held back? Have we seen this? There's no throwing of hands, but there's lots of words. And I'll tell you, Rocker looks pretty ripped, dude. Like Rocker.
Well, he should. He played he was in the steroid era, and he was loaded up on roids. And
he looks like he's still loaded up on roids, bro. That dude looks. That dude is swole. Like I look like that dude. Like he is like.
Maybe with Ozempic, but.
I think Ozempic withers your muscles, though, doesn't it? It doesn't make it
probably does. Yeah, but he's definitely doing a little rooster in here, and Rocker ends up throwing the drink in true Rocker form late in his career when his accuracy sucked. He couldn't even hit Mahomes with his drink.
He kind of looks like Roddy Piper right there.
Oh, that's an insult to Roddy Piper. But
dude, he kind of looks like him right there.
He does. But this video led to these 2 guys getting booked to the April 19th Rough and Rowdy. It's John Rocker versus Patrick Mahomes Sr.
Wow.
In the colossal fastball battle of them all, brought to you by that dipshit Dave Portnoy at Barstool Sports.
Wait a second. So what is this Rough and Rowdy? Is this something that Barstool typically does? Is this like a boxing match, or is it like a UFC? Like what is it? MMA?
I think if we were to rank all the fighting and wrestling organizations, Rough and Rowdy's like somewhere down here, and it could be like little kittens, like
I don't know. I've never heard of it, but it's going to be great for marketing. People are going to tune in, at least a subset of people. It's going to be pretty hilarious. So, speaking of wrestling, it kind of fits right in with the wrestling theme that you were getting ready to go into.
It does. It was kind of funny to see two old has-beens and getting their one more moment of glory on Bourbon Street, but our guy, John Cena, back in the WWE for a final run. He gets his moment of glory at WrestleMania in Las Vegas in 2 months, and he kind of got jobbed at the Royal Rumble. I am a nerd when it comes to WWE. I love the new direction that Triple H Hunter is taking the organization, but Cena kind of got jobbed. He should have won the Royal Rumble, and didn't happen. So now he's in the Elimination Chamber in Toronto in a 6-man tag match. No, I'm sorry. It's not a 6-man tag match. It's a 6-man elimination match that we'll see. But, John's back. I'm happy. What's also tripping me out is the giant raging bald spot in the back of his head. And so, yeah.
Welcome to midlife.
Apparently.
That happens.
So, he was breathing a little heavy in the ring the other night. But
well, dude, he's like, so now he's going to go, because I listened to an interview about this. I was listening to Sports Talk on Sirius XM, and they interviewed him, and he goes, yeah, and he goes, I want to give back to WWE that's given me so much, but I'm going to go do a movie, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to go and fight one more time for the title. And what you can just say you're going to fight for the title, like, don't you got to kind of like earn it a little bit? That's why it is WWE Entertainment.
He's 17-time world champion, so
wow.
I think he actually could break Ric Flair's mark. So
I hope not. I hope not. My brother loves wrestling. My brother's mentally handicapped, and he's disabled, but he loves wrestle. He calls them wrestle guys, and he's been watching them for the longest time.
I mean, and look, John Cena was a legendary rapper. He had a double platinum album. It hits. I don't remember a single song, but yeah, so I'm happy that John's back. We'll see what happens here over the next year, but he's going to walk off into the crowd come December, and we'll see how it goes. If These Walls Could Talk, sponsored by Chapel Sports Bar and Museum in North Kansas City. That pork tenderloin you had last week looked so good. I'm getting it next time we're on location.
Don't be bitching at me for cutting it. Dude, I cutting it in half made it more manageable. Dude, that thing, patty is like this. Just because here's why. I know. I'm like, wait a second. Pork tenderloins are always way oversized of the bun. They're like 60% bigger than the bun. I was like, cut that in half. He was like, he's a little bitch who's cutting it in half.
Yeah, man, you were eating that with your pinky out.
I was. And my Chardonnay.
All right, well, we got the beef on bourbon. We got Cena returning. If you haven't picked up on the hidden message in this episode, it's about rage, baby.
We're very angry right now, you guys.
We are. But baseball is starting. But let's flash back to 1983. And Steve, man, what do you got for us?
All right, well, 14-year-old me was watching live when this happened. Anyway, but yeah, back then, only like half the games were televised, so it was kind of a treat. It was a Sunday afternoon game. And I remember they're down 3-2, nobody on, 2 outs. UO Washington gets a single leading off base. And actually, I think it was the very first pitch of the at-bat.
I think so. And side note, UL could have had a Hall of Fame career if he had laid off the cocaine, but that's
maybe.
That's
half that team was on cocaine.
I know it was.
Literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like everybody's so excited. All right, we got a lead, 4-3. But then Billy Martin came out of the dugout, and that's when the announcers, Denny Treese, and they were talking, it looks like he might be protesting the pine tar because they laid the bat down against the plate.
Mm-hmm. You're out. Dude, I remember watching this too because it was such a treat to see the Royals on TV back in the day, like on a Sunday afternoon. Like that was a treat to watch. And I remember he got to the plate, he crunched that home run. Dude, we're ahead. Oh man, it was awesome. And then that moment happens. He just runs out. And so here's the reason why I've read this somewhere is that they didn't like the pine tar to be so high on the bat because a lot of times if you hit the barrel of the bat on the ball, it left pine tar on the ball, so it ruined more balls quicker, and it made it more expensive. So it had nothing to do with the fact that, you get a batting advantage by having pine tar way up there. It was just, hey, it kind of ruins baseballs. So please don't have that so high. We're going to make a rule so you can't do that. And so the fact that Billy Martin called him out on it and called him on it, and then the ump overturned the home run, dude, that was an instant sports meme right there.
Yeah, it was. And then I think Steve, like it went through a formal protest, and I think the Major League Baseball office in New York actually reinstated the home run, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did. They replayed it like on a random Thursday. They had an off day between playing Boston and Baltimore or something like that. So they were on the East Coast. So they played. And then Billy Martin was so pissed off about it being overturned that he put in the bottom of the ninth, he put players in all random positions or in the top. When the Royals came up to bat with 2 outs, he had people all over in different positions than they were supposed to.
Well, that was dumb because they still had a chance to win the game.
You would think.
They could have still won the game. And I like it. You said this backstage while we were not recording, but you said George Brett went from being the hemorrhoid guy to being the pine tar road rage guy.
Yeah.
I remember so many jokes about him having hemorrhoids. And then after this pine tar thing, I never heard really another joke about him and his hemorrhoids. I never thought about George Brett's hemorrhoids again.
Until right now, this moment. But I think, Chris, you might have the clip with the Dan Patrick George Brett interview to pull up. Let's watch.
1983.
Pine tar.
Pine tar.
Any idea going into that game that there's any suspicions about your bat?
No, none whatsoever. I had used that bat. It was one of the best bats I have ever gotten. I think it was a 9-grainer, which there's only 9 grains going through the whole bat, and that bat was hard. And I bet I used that bat for over a month. Well, you put pine tar on a bat for a month, it's gonna start bleeding into the wood, and the levels, it's just gonna start building up. And I had no idea, Dan, in all honesty, that bat was illegal, and that's why I never did anything about it.
This is how it played out with the pine tar game at Yankee Stadium.
The pitch. Deep to right field. Holy cow, I don't believe it. Home run for George Brett. And Billy Martin now is coming out. He wants to take a look at that bat. And if he wins this, there will be chaos. You remember the hit?
Oh, I can't believe that.
Wait a minute, Bill.
I can't believe that.
They did that to Thurman Munson in Minnesota.
Brett is upset, and I can't believe that, Phil. I can't believe they'd call Brett out here.
Unbelievable inning is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess word was that Nettles and Billy Martin saw this earlier in the season. They looked at the bat.
We played the Yankees 2 weeks prior to that,
okay.
and the bat, Greg Nettles said, hey, God, he's got so much pine tar on that bat, I think it's an illegal bat. I didn't do anything in that series to affect the outcome of the game. If you get a single in the 3rd inning with 2 outs, they don't care. They were waiting for something in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning that might change the outcome. So they didn't say a word. And then sure enough, 2 weeks later, I got the same bat, and it's got, 14 more days of pine tar built up on that thing. And so we go in there, and that was the last game of the series. And then in the 9th inning, 2 outs in the 9th inning, we're down by a run or 2, and then I hit that home run. And they said, I think that's going to affect the outcome of this game. Let's go out and challenge it now. And that's what they did. And God, it was crazy because I have never heard of that happening before.
Yeah, you
go.
Go back and you look at that, and it's amazing because then they have to have a redo. They have to pick up the game.
Yeah, and can you believe they kicked me out of the game?
So you can't play.
They kicked me out of the game.
Okay, so they allow the home run,
right?
But you're not allowed to play in the resumption of that game.
Right, because I got kicked out because of yelling at the umpires.
Did you get fined?
No, never got fined. 20 years in baseball, never got fined.
That's crazy. What a great story. What a great way to kick off baseball.
That was one hell of a meltdown right there. One hell of a meltdown. Now, George Brett, one of my favorite players, obviously, because growing up as a Royals fan, if you want to sometimes go, if you've never heard this story, he is at spring training and he's telling somebody a story about when he was at the Bellagio and he incidentally sharted his pants, but he doesn't remember, he didn't know that he was mic'd up. And he tells this whole story about how he shit his pants and he's walking through the Bellagio with his slushing shoes. And You just gotta watch it. I don't know what you need to type in to go find that, but that's a hilarious,
Oh yeah,
hilarious thing right
I
there.
think it was
So,
a seafood boil or seafood bake or something in one of the places, and he had to like throw his britches away, and he had his jacket kind of tied around to the back of his pants. But I mean, just his deadpan delivery. He's out in surprise on
okay.
the
No,
field.
he's telling the story like he's proud of it, dude. It's
Oh
hilarious. Like he's like, yeah, so I shit my pants, you know. And he's just like, oh,
Well, the best part is he's telling the story to all these guys that are like AA, AAA players, like on the borderline of making it, and they're like, "What? This is the Hall of Fame guy? Like making his pants?"
yeah. Talking about making a caca. Like,
oh my
but
god.
hey,
That's so
I shit my pants in a baseball game once. So I mean, look, all the great guys do it. So
yeah. One of my favorite commercials was that Kmart commercial. I just shipped my pants. I just shipped my pants too.
I shit my pants, I believe.
You can ship your pants anywhere you want to in America. Right on. Let's head on. So what's going on in base? Now the football's done. Baseball's here, baby. What is going down in the baseball land?
Well, it's a good transition there, Archbishop Travis, to probably the three biggest offseason moves that I felt. I guess not to make it selfish or about me, but you had Juan Soto vacate the Yankees to go to the Mets.
That was quite an ordeal. Like he was being courted by so many places, and then then basically he just gets to stay in the same house, I guess, wherever he decided to live in New York. And instead of going to the Yankees, he's going to go hang out, go to the Mets.
Yeah, I mean generational talent, getting a ton of money.
Generational wealth. Oh my God, that contract's stupid.
It is. It
Wait
really
a
is.
second. Are the Mets still paying Bobby Bonilla, Moser?
Of course.
Yeah,
Are they still paying him like it was like July 1st every year or something? They pay him Bobby Bonilla another $1 million. When does that end? It's got to end eventually, doesn't it?
I think it ends.
Look.
Yeah, let's get our statistician Steve Moser on that one. But yeah, like Soto leaving the Yankees to get on a subway and go play for the Mets.
Yeah,
it's that was a huge story. And like you said, Travis, there's a lot of teams. There's at least 12 teams. I know the Red Sox, the Royals had a low level of interest apparently, good, but shit, we couldn't afford him.
And what did he get? Didn't he? Am I wrong? Am I smoking crack? Did he get $700 million?
$765 million. It's a 15-year, $765 million contract, $75 million signing bonus. All that 765 million is freaking guaranteed.
Now, is any of that like deferred? Because I know that the Dodgers with Shohei Ohtani, they did something where they're paying him a little bit and then they're deferring a lot of that. Are they doing any deferring payments?
Zero.
Dude, the Mets are stupid, dude. Like, what?
There is no.
Why do they do that dumb shit? Like Juan Soto, I'd almost bet money Juan Soto with the Mets gets no World Series. Why? Yeah. Because the Dodgers are hoarding talent like it's the end of the world, and they gotta grab it. They're greedy bankers trying to get as much as they can. Like the Dodgers are ruining baseball. I think they got so much talent over there. And they just signed a whole bunch of new amazing people.
Oh, they did, and it's probably stopped offseason story number 2. Roki Sasaki, the big international player pool, the prize catch goes to the Dodgers on deferred money.
Yeah.
Yosko Hernandez, Blake Snell, Hai-Sung Kim. Like, it's just like Fort Knox is now out in Chavez Ravine.
Money printer go burr. So what kind of penalties are they getting with their, like, ridiculous payroll now? Like, it seems like they should have just a huge zero. There's no tax. Wasn't there like a luxury tax or something? Did that go away?
Yeah, there's no.
Wow.
There's just they're not. Like, in fact, I actually curious, Steve, do you know how much money the Dodgers have in deferred salaries?
No. Let me guess. $2 billion.
$1 billion in deferred player contracts between the years 2028 and 2046.
Wow, $1 billion. So what happens if they become insolvent or something?
Well, one, that will never happen because the franchise has tremendous value. But you look at Shohei Ohtani, $680 million of his $700 million is deferred, and that's just a 10-year deal. Blake Snell is $66 million of his $180 million is deferred. Tommy Edmond, 25 of his 74 is deferred. You got Mookie Betts, Freddie, Will Smith. They all have a lot of deferrals. It's almost like they kind of set up their own IRA plan because these guys are going to actually have some money on the back end of their career and their life. And so what they're doing, the Dodgers, I mean, a lot of people do feel it is ruining baseball. It is creating competitive imbalance. I mean, their 5-man starting lineup is all number one guys. And that's tough to go against when you're like Milwaukee.
Well, baseball has a youth problem, right? Like the youth hasn't been tuning into baseball. Like a lot of the biggest baseball fans are sort of are boomers and Gen X, right? Not a lot of the younger kids, because it's kind of, for them, it's kind of boring. They like the 6-second Vine videos, the short TikTok videos, right? That attention span. And so that's why they've introduced the pitching clock, and they've sped up the games. Like, I was impressed. I think the first game I went to last year, Royals game, it was Royals in Houston. That game was just 2 hours and 5 minutes long. Like, that was the quickest baseball game I've ever been to. I was like, wow, that was so quick. And so I think that a little bit too quick. So check this out. So in 2025, the Dodgers have a $376 million payroll. Mets, 320. Phillies, 280. Yankees, 275. Toronto Blue Jays, 239. Rangers, 206. Astros, 202. Braves, 199. Padres, 191. Cubs, $185 million. Those are the top 10. And the Miami Marlins have a payroll of $46.3 million. And so the teams that exceed the $241 million luxury tax, they do face financial penalties. So the Mets are $79 million over. They're going to have a surcharge of 110%. So they're going to have to spend. They're going to pay more money to, I guess, baseball, and they'll distribute that out to other teams. But I mean, that's one thing I love about the NFL is it has parity. More teams have gone to the playoffs and won. But it's weird that a small market team like the Kansas City Chiefs have been to, 5 Super Bowls in the last 6 years. That's like an anomaly. But we all have the same amount of money we can play with. In baseball, it's totally different. And in NBA, I think there's a salary cap, but certain teams spend a whole shitload on certain players, and it just becomes unfair for the fan. And we're all about the fan base, baby.
It does, and that's probably a good segue to the third biggest offseason story. The Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas Athletics. That godly, man, that whole move and relocation has been a mess. It's been a clown show. I personally hate to see the Kansas City Athletics. I mean, the Oakland Athletics now become
the Philadelphia Athletics.
And yeah, before that, I mean, they're the vagabond team of Major League Baseball. But one of my favorite movies, I know we're going to touch on movies in the upcoming episode, is Moneyball, and what Billy Beane did in that year and how he collected all these folks. But the Coliseum was a shithole stadium.
Yeah,
I mean, sewage would back up frequently. You'd have fecal matter running through the visitor and home team dugout. I mean, now the Raiders did play there, so that makes a lot of sense.
Even the vending locations. I saw a game there on my birthday, I think like 2014, I think, and it's a shithole. Like, and that was 10 years ago, and now it's 10 years older. Like, even all the vending locations, shithole. Not great. Like, there was nothing spectacular about it. And then they have that crappy tarp over all those seats, and it's just a really ugly stadium. And their overall payroll for 2025 is $54 million. And the Royals, by the way, $106 million. So we made it to the ALDS, right? Pretty good. $106 million. That's like less than a third of what the Dodgers are going to be paying their people.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I mean, shoot, you look at $54 million for the A's, and they're going to play in Sacramento this year in a minor league stadium. And I will say this: the stadium they're proposing to build right there on Tropicana in the Las Vegas Strip, Tropicana Boulevard, where the old Tropicana has been already demolished. I tell you, it is extremely, extremely impressive. And I'll say this as a fan, right? Like, sports travel is amazing. Like my wife and I had the opportunity to go out to Arrowhead West, Allegiant Stadium, where the Las Vegas Raiders like to scrimmage. And we stayed at, I think there was a Luxor that we stayed at, and there's a street that closes down on game day, and you walk over the Interstate 15, and you're there at the stadium. And it was actually a really fun experience. I didn't like paying $20 for a tall boy beer. That's a different story.
Well, dude, that's just what you know is when you go to watch these sporting events, you don't go pay those. You don't buy beer at them. You just kind of get drunk beforehand or smoke a joint or something. You just like don't. Everything is way overpriced. But you said this is really so true. I've been to that stadium twice. I've seen a couple of awesome games. I did this last year. I happen to have conferences both times that lined up perfectly with the Chiefs game, which is phenomenal. And there's an app that they're not affiliated with this yet, but it's called Game Time. And Game Time I find is better than StubHub and some of these other ones because once the game starts, StubHub cuts it off, but Game Time will allow it to go within that first quarter. And dude, I got a seat at the 50-yard line, one seat, 50-yard line, rose up for less than $300 for one seat. It was like $220 or something, just unbelievable seat. And I'm sitting here watching the game this year. Spectacular, beautiful stadium. But we're talking about the new Las Vegas stadium for the Athletics. That thing looks like it's going to be badass. 3,300 potential seats. And just the mock-ups of that with that little roof thing they have. And wow, I think it's badass.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the mock-ups of the stadium are amazing. But that corner has become a dynamic because you got the T-Mobile Arena right behind there where you've got, the Las Vegas Knights. You've got concerts. They're proposing at the far north end of the strip up by the Resorts World Casino, this like brand new NBA arena and casino and resort that, I mean, holy smokes, it puts this to shame. But Las Vegas is, all the pro sports have really embraced betting, one. And now Las Vegas is going to be the home to, you got the Raiders, you got the A's, you got the Golden Knights.
All the teams. Isn't there even an NHL team there too?
Yeah, that's the Golden Knights, the hockey team.
Okay,
and they got the Las Vegas Aces, the women's WNBA team. So, but that little cluster right there in Vegas is fun.
Dude, in the Sphere, it would be so badass. I don't see it in the mock-ups, but if you could actually see the Sphere in the distance where the stadium is, dude, that Sphere is spectacular. Have you had a chance to go inside it yet, Marty?
I have not, but I've seen it. I've had a really good friend of mine was telling me about the Grateful Dead concert in there.
I went and saw U2, and it was a recorded one. So it was recorded, and it was as loud as it was live going on, and the way that the cameras had been set up, like you could see them down. It's literally like we're looking down, and they're not there, but they're like, it almost looks like they're holographic, where you could just see them, they're right there, and then just all of the amazing graphics that went with all these U2 songs. Like, if you like U2, it was spectacular. If you didn't like U2, it was still spectacular. Like, holy cow, it was breathtaking. And now the Eagles have performed there. Tool, I can't even imagine seeing Tool there with all their psychedelic imagery. And wow, bro, like I tell you, that Sphere is something else.
It is. And what I'm hearing in this, I know we were supposed to be talking about baseball, and then we brought the Las Vegas Athletics.
Well, the A's they got all these franchises. It's awesome.
But hey, you know what? This show is called the Fanbase. It's not always going to be about sports, folks. We're going to get some movies, but I'm almost thinking, Travis, that we have a fan of Las Vegas episode in the future where we talk about our favorite things in Las Vegas that we remember and what that city can really bring. So, especially when it comes to sports tourism, maybe might be a fun place to go shoot on site in a future episode.
There we go, dude. And I tell you what, those sports books are so cool. Like, I've gone to most of them and just sit and make a bet, you win or lose, whatever. But dude, you're just sitting here, just TVs everywhere, all around you, showing this, especially during March Madness, bro. March Madness there.
We went during the conference tournaments. They had 6 large TVs, right? And it was basically ACC, Big East, Big 10, Big 12. Every single conference had a TV. They were like movie theater size, pretty much.
That's bad.
Crazy.
You know, apparently Hollywood Casino here in Kansas City has a pretty impressive sports book thing. So we should maybe see about doing something with them sometime and recording a show from that venue with some cool stuff going on. Maybe we can find something, try to do something for March Madness. And I tell you what, let's move in next. I guess what do we got here? Moser has some moments that he's been dying to share because there's some cool stuff going down in this attack.
All right, a little sports history for mid-February. Mostly it is Daytona 500s, Winter Olympics, and the NBA All-Star Games. So I'm going to just touch base on a little bit of every one of them. Although I'm going to lead off with boxing. This was kind of interesting in mid-February of 1990. I remember this, I was in college. And it was a little interesting because it was before the internet and social media. Tokyo is 14 hours ahead of us. So a boxing match at 9 o'clock at night is actually happening here at 7 in the morning. But HBO didn't show the match at 7 in the morning. They showed it at night. And I remember we went over to go to his friend's house before we were going out to the party. And he actually had HBO. And they said, "Oh yeah, did you guys see Tyson lost?" And we were like, "What?" And it was like such a absurd, the idea of him losing.
Yeah,
I don't think very many people watched the bout.
For sure, to a buster.
A buster.
He was ranked 7th going into it, which I thought he was. I didn't know he was. That you said John Cena said he was just gonna fight for the title. That sounds like what Buster Douglas did. I'm ranked 7th, so I'm going to fight for the title.
Well, I think it was like a warm-up match or something, and Mike Tyson just didn't take it serious. So when Customato died, Mike Tyson's trainer and his mentor, that sort of set him back, and then he got into some crazy people. And then he had his amazing trainer, Kevin Rooney, and then he fired Kevin Rooney, I think not too long before this fight. And then he got surrounded by a bunch of yes men, and then Don King, and they were telling him he was the greatest. And so then he didn't train like he had used to train. And I think it just set him down a wrong path. And I'll tell you this, Mike Tyson's one of my favorite people of all time. Like, growing up, dude, Bo Jackson, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, this is just amazing athletes out there, dude. And I think Mike Tyson was probably my favorite because he was just so ferocious, dude. He'd just be like, whoa, and just, dude, that fight when he destroyed Michael Spinks, dude, that was the most insane thing, dude. 91 seconds. I'll never forget that. That was
going into the bout, he was 37-0 with 33 of the 37 were knockouts.
So what I'm hearing you say is that in this bout, 1990, Mike Tyson got Kansas City chiefed.
Big time.
Hey-o.
No, it was a 10th round knockout. It was pretty close bout. It wasn't like a first.
No, the Chiefs thing is way worse.
Yeah. NBA All-Star Games, the very first one happened in 1951. You see the picture here.
That was back when defense existed, right?
How many of these fellas do you think could play in today's NBA?
Probably none.
Then the score was a 111-94, which kind of sounds
didn't exist.
It sounds like the third NBA All-Star game was 79-75. And then just last year they scored 200 points for the first time in a game.
Somebody scored the one team scored 200 points?
Yeah, it was stupid.
Wow, that's so stupid.
We got some good the Daytona 500 history here. We'll wrap it up with in mid-February 1992, the Daytona 500 was the final Daytona 500 for both AJ Foyt and Richard Petty. So I don't know that much about NASCAR myself, but if someone asked me to name like 5 auto racers, I think probably Richard Petty and AJ Foyt would be.
Those would be some you remember.
Yeah. Name, even
was it also when was it, I guess it was right around that time was like the last Dale Earnhardt one too, right?
That was in 200001. It was, and he died on the very last lap of the race.
Wow.
And they changed NASCAR safety standards. There's a whole list of
put your damn blinker on.
Restrictor plates, all kinds of different things. I was going to go over the 1992 Daytona 500. I was just kind of amazed looking at AJ Foyt and Richard Petty's accomplishments. So they both started their racing careers in the late 50s. So basically, they were professional race car drivers
For
throughout
30-something years, huh?
entire decades in a row, and then into the early 90s. Yeah, some of AJ
Mario
Foyt,
Andretti, wasn't he also one, or was he a different race?
He
Was
is.
like F1?
Actually, AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti are the only two people to win Daytona 500 and Indianapolis 500.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
He won, let's see here, 74 races over his 36 career. Some of the accomplishments, this is crazy. So he drove in the Indianapolis 500 for 35 consecutive years. That just seems nuts to me.
And he made $280,000.
Lifetime earnings.
And then also he was an IndyCar driver. He was one of the few. Yeah, Foyt and Mario Andretti are the only two drivers to win both the Indianapolis 500 and the Daytona 500.
Hold on a second. I'm going to check and see how many fucks I give about this. I think I only have like about a half a fuck left.
Okay. All right.
Got me all choked up there.
Yeah, y'all choked out. That's good. Well, good stuff. That is a sport. You turn left and you keep turning left, but it's really loud. Have you been to one yet, Moser? Have you been out to the NASCAR thing at?
In Topeka. I grew up in Topeka, and one of my jobs in college was parking cars, but it was not. It was the straight drag race, just a drag.
Oh, okay. Still pretty loud.
Oh, it's ridiculously loud.
I tell you,
That's
racing.
sport. Are there any other weird sports? It seems like this might be a section for a weird sports.
Welcome to a new feature: weird shit in sports that we find online. So our first one in the weird sports that we found online is ferret legging.
Ferret what?
You heard me correct.
Ferret
legging.
Legging.
Apparently.
Ferret legging.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a video for it too. I want to see this. This is weird.
Yeah, the Yorkshire miners back in the 70s would stick ferrets down their pants as a form of entertainment and see how long that ferret can stay inside your britches. Now,
wait, is that like what Richard Gere was doing with the hamsters? Is that kind of similar?
I think it might be related, Travis. I really truly do. I also think this
I'm not going to go into that one.
Yeah, I also think this is what happens to the Buffalo Bills in playoff games against Kansas City is they ferret leg.
They put ferrets in their pants, huh?
You put a ferret in their pants, and you see how long you get it. And they had a men's division, and they had a women's division. Now, the women's division didn't catch on, but let's take a look at this video. It's crazy.
Oh, man.
Yes, if I could have complete quietness, please, I'd appreciate it.
Be quiet.
Everyone complete quiet, please.
One down first.
I got to put this fucking ferret in my pants if you can be
Is the
quiet.
timekeeper with us?
When the second one is in, I'll start the clock.
God damn it, Marty, be
Not
quiet. I
time,
got
you've got one very here.
You don't start time actually until the two are in. Ready, Paul? Yes, put them in.
That's it. That's beginner's level ferret legging.
So they can get at the top as well.
Yeah, that's key. Pants are tight. Claws. The tail.
What happens if he tries clawing out the wrong way? You don't have any balls left. That's
Can
horrible.
you tell us what it feels like?
Can you tell us what it feels like?
What it feels like. I've got claws on my nuts.
As you can see, they're scratching a bit, and I got the small ear scratch on the back of my leg.
As you can see, I'm a little bit stressed right now.
Through the trousers.
Actually coming through the trousers, as you can see there.
Through the trousers,
Coming
Travis.
to my trousers. That's what she said.
Time elapsed.
1 minute.
1 minute.
You've done a minute.
1
Oh, my
minute.
goodness.
How much
I
longer
think
can
this is where he loses a testicle.
keep this up?
Oh, Jesus. I'm scared for his ball sack.
It's the last thing I do.
What if it's scratched?
Oh, my God, he's going to rip through the pants? Is that what he's going to do?
Yeah, look at that thing.
Dude, I don't want that anywhere near my ball sack.
No, I mean, these Yorkshire miners.
9, 8, 7,
Crazy.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's nuts. Well,
Yay, you're so
everybody's
smart.
cheering.
Good
Everybody's
job,
cheering
Red
for this
Miller.
guy. But the world record ferret legger is a guy named Reg Malore. He did it for, let me check my notes, 5 minutes and 26 seconds where he went in and had a ferret in his pant leg. Guys, I couldn't do that. Like,
dude, can you imagine like the scratched thighs and it's just scratching you? Dude, and if it just clips a ball, I'm done. I'm like, whoa, get out of here, ferret. That's no. Or maybe they're wearing like an athletic cup or something to protect the jewels. Like, you just don't want to leave a ferret in there unattended.
No. And what if the ferret like wraps around your leg and finds the backside? So
that just seems dangerous to me. I'll say no on that one. That does not seem to be a sport that I will be sporting in, Mr. Moser. I'm going to leave this one for you, Moser. You can.
That video felt like it needed to be the 29th minute of a Benny Hill episode, right? Fired up. Here it starts.
That's funny. But yeah, like when I was doing some research for this segment, like I found some crazy stuff. Like there is lawnmower racing, the nude Olympics, the mud Olympics, like it's all sorts of things. So we're gonna have some fun. It's a nice little fun, light, pithy segment. We're gonna
take away our pain from the Super Bowl.
We're
still taking away our pain.
You know, maybe that's what happened to us, Travis. Is we got
what it was? Legs. We were just like, we had all this rage, and then we're like, here's some sadness.
Yeah, and here's an animal in your pants.
Yeah. I do want to throw this out there. So Coach Sarge does picks. He is good at his picking. He did do some Chiefs bets that kind of sucked and ruined his record a little bit, but that did not ruin his overall sort of record. And with basketball doing what basketball does, they release the lines and the games happen really quick. So we're going to need you to tune in to our shorts. So I want you to look into our shorts and watch our shorts because there might be ferrets popping out of it, or you might see Coach Sarge giving you some picks. And so connect on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. We'll show our shorts there. You can take a look at our shorts. So I don't know if he's going to have a show, but we'll come back on here from time to time and give some updates. And he will give picks on shorts, and then we can come back and say, here's how he did. But his picks are pretty solid, and he's got some pretty good math behind it, and so we're excited about that. And you know what also we're excited about, Mr. Marty?
It better be my favorite segment of the show.
Probably is. Are your good friend Nick? Why don't you bring us home on that one?
Oh, man. Nick has got us fired up.
What do you say, hot dogs wrapped in egg rolls?
Oh, yeah. We uncovered hot dogs with egg rolls as the bun, and it literally was a showstopper. Maybe we see that in a future episode, but
I don't think we do.
I don't know. I got to try it. I might just go to Quick Trip and get an egg roll and a hot dog.
Maybe if it was a brat. Maybe it's a brat. Like regular hot dogs itself are just really gross.
Oh, I love it.
I got to be super hungry to want to eat a regular hot dog because regular hot dogs are pretty disgusting.
You're missing out. But you know what's not disgusting is what Nick Farr, the South Chicago chef, has got in store for us this week. He's got pulled pork tacos, and he's got a very creative shell. So, Nick, it's snowing. It's cold as balls here in Kansas City right now. Please tell me that the weather out in Gilbert, Arizona is sunny and warm.
Fanbase, the Chiefs lost, and I'm sorry. I'm also sorry that I think you guys are talking about your weather as well. It's too bright in Arizona. It's like 80 degrees. And by the way, I did call Eagles money line. I'm sorry. But guess what? It's baseball season now. Ryan Sandberg. Love Rhino. You guys you could talk about Bobby Witt. There you go. You got something to talk about. But I know that you guys are going to be lazy. So here's what we're going to do today because you're a little bit depressed. What do you do with that pulled pork when it's done? Like, what do you do for leftovers? I'm going to show you what you do. All you need is 2 pans. Why? You'll know in a minute. Throw a big chunk of that pork in there. 505 green chili sauce. I'm going to say 4 or 5 tablespoons. Get that started on your stove and come back to see what's next. All right, take a look. See this getting nice lemon ice in there? Just hit it with this little Japanese barbecue sauce, whatever barbecue sauce you have. I like this one because there's not a lot of sugar in it. Just like a little squirt on there just to give it a little bit of sweetness. Now, this is a barbecue pork taco. Here's what we do. Are you on the keto? Get your bag of Parmesan. This is going to be your shell. And now, the reason why you needed that other pan, we're going to hang this Parmesan off the handle of this pan when we're done. I'm gonna show you this and then we'll cut because it takes a few minutes to build these tacos. Okay, once you get it in the pan, spread it out so that it gets nice and thin. Turn the heat up. 2 or 3 minutes, come back. We'll flip them and make this barbecue green chili pork taco. All right, take a look. When this starts getting brown around the edges, kind of use like 2 devices here and then flip it over. Oh, that's gonna be the crust. 1 minute, okay, 1 minute in here, that's it. Then you gotta hang it right on here. I'm gonna show you how to do that. All right, it's been 1 minute. Watch how easy this is. It's all gonna stay together now when you do it, right to the handle of your pot. You have to play with it a little bit just to get it on there. And that's gonna dry into the perfect taco shell for these pork tacos. 1 minute, it's gonna be ready to eat. Let's go. All right, so we got that pork real nice in there with that green chili. We hit it with the barbecue sauce. And now you just build it in this Parmesan crust like this. Now this is when you get into the options. I love having options. I make this pickled veg. I think it goes beautiful on there. It cuts into the sweetness of the barbecue sauce. But I always need to finish it with something hot. I have a green sriracha sauce here like this. All right, guys, this is it. If you want to get over your Super Bowl loss of the Kansas City Chiefs, make this keto pork taco with green chilies, barbecue sauce, some of that fresh jardiniere on the top or pickled veg with some hot sauce. I'm sorry, guys, that it didn't work out. You're still a dynasty. This one's for you. Cheers. Ridiculous.
Hey, Nick, that looks freaking phenomenal. And I wish I had those pulled pork tacos at my Super Bowl party. Well, hey, that wraps up episode 10. Sometimes you're the pigeon. Sometimes you're the statue. The Eagles were the pigeon. They shit all over the Chiefs. But we hope you enjoyed this episode. We're bringing in new things, so you guys will not have to hear us talk about the Chiefs probably for a while after this episode. But we're going to be big on baseball. We've got basketball coming up. I tell you, we got college baseball, but what I'm really excited to do is bring women's college softball to a male podcast. And we got some surprises that I'm working on for this segment, but we're really excited. And if you did not see some of the cool things that happened in the opening week of women's college softball, you guys are truly missing out on one of the most exciting games out there. So find a game, go watch it. ESPN Plus, ESPN, they're out there. You go check out whether you're a Texas Longhorns fan, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, which is probably the penultimate team in women's college softball. But yeah, we've got a lot of surprises with that. Travis, what do you got for us as we?
We're going to have some surprises on that. Like Marty's going to do his own shorts about that.
I might do a short on recruiting. I
want to give one final shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, great job of putting the womp down on. And so to honor you, I'm going to do the shout out that your mayor did recently. Gotta get ready. EGLSES, Eagles. Fucking idiots. Learn how to spell. Fucking dipshit.
Hey, and to the Phillies out there, go fuck yourself this season. I hope you guys come in last
Philadelphia.
Hey, for Travis Wright, Fat Pitt, Ald Rudd, Steve Moser, I'm Fat McAfee, Marty McDonald. Thank you for hanging out with us on episode 5. We'll see you next week for episode 6. We got no clue what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. It's not fucking sunny in Philadelphia. Fuck Philadelphia. You burnt your city down. Go suck it.
Yeah. Bye, Philly.